Howdy folks. So the developers of Humankind have released sort of a roadmap. What's next for Humankind? Looking at the game really over the next few weeks, few months, and maybe itching it out toward the end of the year. In this video, I want to cover off three things. Firstly, I want to give you the TLDR for Humankind's next patch. I do have a full video on it if you want the complete ins and outs, but this will be the TLDR. We're also going to talk the medium to longer term future of Humankind and what the developers have signaled, particularly leaning on their 1.5 hour live stream that I watched all of, so you don't have to. If you want to, though, I'd recommend it. It's a fairly interesting watch, but again, I've consolidated all this information here for you in this small video, so you don't have to do that. If you appreciate it, I would appreciate you smashing that thumbs up button. Anyway, let's move on. The third part of this video will be around a Humankind giveaway and a map making competition using the in-game map editor. More on that in a bit. For starters, let's talk the new patch. So at the moment, it is available on Steam through the beta testing version. It's going to be rolled out, we expect, next week, and largely it's putting together Amplitude Studios' work around investigating and fixing bugs, but also tweaking a few key gameplay features. The developers have signaled that this patch will indeed be sort of at that higher level, fixing things that are fundamentally wrong, namely the pending turn glitch. Across the board, that should be fixed. They're also fixing the stuck on tenant screen for religious tenants. They're also fixing several crashes around that end turn, improving the AI balance. Again, I covered that fully in my patch video, but a lot of really interesting stuff around the AI, particularly as it relates to combat and as it relates to choosing wonders to build. It's either not very good or far too good at those things. We are also unfortunately seeing some tweaking to the Scout Auto Explore, so we may not be able to use that exploit. For those unfamiliar, if you put your Scouts, or any units for that matter, on Auto Explore, they will beeline to discoveries with superhuman ability. In fact, you don't even need to be able to see the discoveries, and the AI will wander to them, literally just like in circles every turn. Discovery, discovery, discovery. It's very strong. They're going to fix that. But crucially, and two really big things. Number one, those of you using the Game Pass version should see some of the features that the rest of us have that you don't on accident, like some multiplayer issues, like renaming things, so hopefully that'll come out in the wash. And crucially, the big one that most of us are excited about, the generation conditions for the late game resources, particularly oil and uranium, are being increased, i.e. there'll be more on the map, you'll actually get to use them. From playing the version, I picked up on a couple of other small things as well. Again, that pending turn thing was not an issue for me. I've discovered it a lot in the actual version of the game, the current release version. I've played a lot of it, so that makes sense. I didn't discover it at all in the beta version, just my experience, but it does look good. Also, I noticed a few other sort of tweaks to the UI as well that were really nice. The whole experience was slightly better, and that includes when you zoom out and have a look at the territory view, or the religious view, or the society view. Whenever you're panning out from the map, I like what they've done there. Some nice tweaks and fixes. Let's move through into the second part of this video now to talk about Humankind's sort of other improvements and longer term patch strategy. So as I said, the developers have told us that this first patch is sort of already in the works. It's already available as a beta on Steam. It's coming out fast to fix some issues. However, over the slightly longer term, let's call it the medium term from here until the end of the year, the developers have said some interesting things. This is exactly what they said. Listen carefully and then let's digest it together. We've seen many discussions about the game, interesting suggestions for how to change it. Diplomacy, pollution, religion, and war resolution are some examples of the topics that came up. We are of course keeping a close eye on these discussions to understand what players like and don't like. However, there are big topics that may require big changes, quote, to address your concerns thoroughly, unquote. We need to carefully consider the steps to take on these issues and then take time to properly implement and test changes, so unfortunately we won't be able to provide a quick solution to these, though we will continue, quote, to work on balance improvements that may help to alleviate some of the problems you've been talking about, end quote. I paraphrased a little bit of that, quoted the parts that I told you I quoted, obviously. In a nutshell, What they're saying is, we hear you. We hear that you don't like your wars being forced to end. We hear that religion's a bit basic. We hear that pollution needs some tweaking and some greater visibility, i.e., how am I making this pollution? How many turns away am I from destruction? And of course, they've also acknowledged diplomacy, which is actually the four of those things that I have least issues with. I can see the need for a more transparent pollution system, a more engaging religious system, and the ability for us to not be forced to end conflicts. Not so sure about the diplomacy, but I'm keen to see what they put down. Either way, they stress, and I quote here toward the end, "Thank you once again for an enthusiastic reception and for all your help making Humankind a better game. We're here, we're listening, so let's forge the future of Humankind together." It's touchy-feely, but it's nice. And I think as players, it's a little bit reassuring to know that a game that we're investing our time and indeed money and efforts into is going to be supported moving forward. Last but not least, and sort of building on that a little bit, this is kind of a fun one. Those of you who have used the map maker in Humankind and aren't children or incapable like me may be able to win a really sick Humankind computer and a whole load of other like Logitech gear, a special version of the game, a monitor, the soundtrack, even a mouse pad, I think. By the way, I'm not affiliated with this contest at all. I just think it's really cool and some of you might be able to make the most of it. Until Monday the 6th of November through Humankind's mod.io hub. That's where all of the community content is posted. If you create a map and upload it, you could win this fantastic contest. There are also other prizes, including the map most voted by the community, and 10 runner-up prizes, which basically take things from the main prize and slowly filter them out, right? By around halfway, you're getting some Logitech gear, but not a computer, obviously, and then in 10th place, you're getting a mouse pad. All in all, I think this is really fun. The map editor itself is very interesting to use. I'd recommend you have a go and check it out. I've downloaded a couple of cool maps already, actually, that people have submitted to this contest. And if you would like to start downloading some of the stuff that they've produced, some of these really fun community maps, also some mods and stuff appearing, do check out the first link in the description, which is my very quick tutorial on how to download community maps, mods, and avatars. Indeed, you can download me and put me in your game too. That concludes what's next for Humankind, a very sort of rough look and draft look at the roadmap going forward. Again, I'm not affiliated with Humankind, I'm not a developer, this is not a paid or sponsored video, but I do like to consolidate information and present it to you so that hopefully we can all be on the same page and know what we're looking forward to in Humankind's future development. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and until next time, I'll see you then. Take care and bye-bye.